Hi, and welcome back. We're up to the year 1996. By the way, I was once teaching a class, and I said that Avram was born in 1948, and a young girl raised her hand, and she said, my mother was also born in 1948. The difference is 3,760 years. In other words, a common era is at the Hebrew year 3760. So if you ever want to figure out what your Hebrew birthday is, if you don't know the year, if you were born in the year 1945, you add 1945 to 3760, and then you know exactly what Hebrew year you were born in. So, this is the year 1996, and it's an interesting story. It explains that the people of Dar Haflaga, they wanted to bring down some very high concepts. They thought they would benefit. They wanted to get to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There are many. They knew that the only way that they're going to do this is through bittul. But they weren't ready. For bittul, they weren't ready. So therefore, when they tried to do this, they decided to have achdus. They would do it together as one, and then they would reach. The power of achdus is so great, the power of achdus is so incredible that they could have done it. But because the power of achdus is so great, HaKadosh Baruch Hu broke that achdus up, and Hashem scattered them all over. So we see how strong the power of achdus is, that if it was used in the wrong way, they could have chas v'shalom. I don't know what they could have done. But the power of achdus is that strong that the Rebbe had to zerschmetter them. So I want to tell you something at the power of achdus that I saw with my eyes. On Zeis Chanukah this year, Reb Shalom Mordechai Rabashkin's family made an evening to commemorate the greatness of a year ago. I went. There must have been, without exaggeration, in the basement of a school called Gan Yisrael in Borough Park, at the beginning of Borough Park, there must have been chveis, over 2,000 women. The men were in a different place. The power of achdus in that room, it was incredible. There were women that brought their little girls that they should see this. It was just, I couldn't get over it. And by the men, if you watch this, go on, I don't know if you can go online. If you can't, I don't know. I'm sorry. That must have been chveis, 5,000, 6,000 men. It was unbelievable, the power of achdus. And the power of achdus of this whole story. I want to share with you one point that Reb Shalom Mordechai said. He said many things, but this is such a powerful, powerful point. Reb Shalom Mordechai says as follows. In Tehillim it says, Al Hashem Yehovacha, v'hu yechalkelecha. That your love and your hope should be to Hashem. V'hu yechalkelecha. And He will feed you. He's the one that will sustain you. And so he tells a story that one day, the day before he was freed, a guard comes into his room and said, Rabashkin, you have mail. And he opened his letter, and it said, denied, denied, a stempel, denied. It was the last time that they could appeal to the Court of Appeals. This was the last appeal that they could have, the last one. It's Chanukah, and he gets a letter that says, denied. which means Rachmana litzlan, another 18 years in jail. It's Chanukah, and this man lives with, talk about Emunah and Betochen. Emunah meaning that you believe that it'll be good. And Betochen means you know it'll be good. You don't even have to think about it. You know it'll be good. You don't have to believe because you know it'll be good. You know it'll be good. And he got this letter and he looked at it and he folded it and he put it away. And he said, this is where Behu Yichalkelecha comes in. Till then, the hope was on this court because there was so much traversy, I think it said, I can't say the word correctly, of justice. There were such horrible things. There were so many anti-Semitic rulings, things that didn't make sense, that were at the time of Beilis in Russia. My father used to talk about the Beilis process. It was like a blood gilbul. It was horrendous. How this happened in the United States of America in the 21st century, it doesn't make sense. But he says, when the court failed, he said, Behu Yichalkelecha, jetzt die sind ganz nach Neberschen. Hashem has to do this. Hashem has to do this. And he believed every day in it. Every single day he believed in it. Every day he got up and he said, today I'm going to go free. And then he said the most incredible thing. What would happen if that last appeal, they would say, okay, we're giving you 5 years off. Everybody would be very happy. 5 years off. It means that he would have to stay another 11 years. Could you imagine? Another 11 years. But he said, that's it. I'm finished with the court system. We tried the Gashmians part. We tried the Gashmi part because you have to be a Keli. You have to do what you have to do. So he did what he had to do. He went through all of the motions and they went through all of the... And then they said denied. So now guess who it's up to? The Meiberschen. The next day, there was a knock at his door. And one of the guards, who always said to him, Good Shabbos, even if it was Wednesday, said to him, Rubashkin, get out. He said, I'm going home, huh? Behu Yichalkelecha. Listen, I don't know about you. I can only talk about me. We all have our little jails that we're in. He once got up in school and he said, my cell number was 2729. What's your cell number? But that's not what I mean. We're all in our little cells. We all have problems. We all have stuff. And sometimes we think it will come from, the Yeshua will come from a doctor, a something. Behu Yichalkelecha. The Yeshua comes from only one place. And that Yeshua is Geherafine. With this lesson, I finished 2,000 years of history. So the first 1,000 years, again, are the 10 generations from Adam to Noach. The second 1,000 years is the generation from Noach to Avram, and then the year 1996 to Der Haflaga. Let's get the Achdus, the real Achdus, and bring Mashiach now immediately. Thank you very much. Seid gesund. Thank you, Faye. I'm using it again.